if you want to have total control over people or countries for this matter, take hold of their income, take hold of their source of income, take control of their resources, make them think that they need you. That's what we are going to talk about today. Please stay until the end of the video. I'd like to know your thoughts on this matter, and please consider subscribing. Before conceding to the African pressure for independence, this parasite, the French Empire, I should say, had to make sure that her influence on her former colonies will still be there. So they made sure that these colonies sign economic, political, military cooperation agreement, partnership. They like to call it partnership, but it's not partnership really. It's one way of saying that I'm giving you this fake independence, but I'm still owning everything that you have and you. The requirements for that partnership are like these countries, they have to put 50% of their foreign reserve in French or in France treasuries. So 50% of their foreign reserve has to be held or are held by the French institutions. On top of that 50%, they have to pay 20% for financial liabilities. So that's already 70% of their total national reserve in French institutions. So these countries, they only have control over 30% of their total reserve. And you might think that the corruption or the exploitation will stop there. No, no, no. The 30% that they have control over has to be printed under the supervision of the French National Bank. And let's say these countries, they want to have access to their own foreign reserves. You know what happens? They have to pay a fixed commercial rate. So they have to pay interest just to have access to their own reserve, to their own money. And the exploitation does not stop there. These countries on the screen, you might notice that they have one thing in common. They're very rich in natural resources, whether it's gold, copper, lithium, the list is long. France has exclusive rights to these resources. So the French get to have the first pick for a cheaper price of these resources. And it gets even deeper. France dictates which country these countries can trade with. So if these countries want to do international trading, France has to approve that trade. So if it's not to the interest of the French, France will not approve the trade, and the trade will not happen. So what I'm trying to say is, without Africa, or without these African countries, France is broke. And don't take my word for it. Take the words of this guy. This is the former French president, and this is what he had to say on this matter. He said, "We have to be honest and acknowledge that a big part of the money in our banks comes precisely from the exploitation of the African continent. Without the Africa, France will slide down into the ranks of a third world power." And with this kind of influence, it's to France or to the French advantage that the leaders who are elected into power favor their system. So if a leader is elected into power, they have to be either corrupt or they get corrupted by the French system so that they look the other way whilst their own people are suffering. And what happens when a leader or leaders who oppose France are elected is that if anyone opposes them, either their government is overthrown or worse, they get assassinated. These are just some of the leaders who tried to go against France's wishes, and most of them, they were either overthrown or assassinated. So how do you expect these countries to develop while someone else is in control of their resources? How do you expect these countries to develop while someone else is in control of their finances? How do you expect these countries to get rid of corruption while the person who says is there to help is the one facilitating the corruption? France is a parasite in Africa, sucking life out of Africa. France is like a cancer that needs to be extracted sooner rather than later. I would like to know your thoughts on the comment section below. Until next time, take care.